Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today, I would like to continue what we've been talking before, as the weather has become quite cold outside. So, I'm recording today's video inside, and today I would like to take a few steps towards the understanding of inattention in a more deeper sense, taking a few steps more towards inattention, and we will see how inattention is connected to the process of thinking and how it's connected to the memory and the knowledge we have in our brains. So, first of all, I would like to define inattention again, just in case, to clarify the way I'm using the word. And the way I'm using it is that when we contract our awareness to a specific object, to a specific thing, to a specific thought, to something specific, when we give or when we consider something special than other things, and that's when you try to contract your awareness to this point, which can also be called as focusing on something, concentrating on something. So when awareness is given a boundary, when awareness is given a limit, okay, then that is what I am saying as inattention. So today I would like to say that the brain has this option of keeping the attention, the awareness open, okay? But for a long period of time, through evolution and through other factors, the brain has been living with this process of constant thinking. It's not a coincidence that we have a strong habit, or we have a strong tendency to think all the time. It's not just coming from somewhere mysterious, but just in our biology, the brain has been used to think a lot. And the reason why brain does that is because the brain feels more secure when it's thinking. Because in thinking, brain is trying to solve its problems. Okay? And the brain usually have only thinking as a resource, as a tool to solve problems, to get rid of problems and make life safer and easier for itself. So in a way, the brain tries to bring security using the process of thinking, which is why the brain is so used to it, the brain is so in habit of using it. And that's why we today as humans use thinking quite a lot, because it is in our genetic memory to that's how the brain likes to function. That's how the brain feels like is the right way for it to operate. So what I would try to draw your attention to today is that when that process of thinking happens in the brain, and it happens as a measure of security from the brain's point of view, but actually, as it happens, it naturally contracts awareness. The moment you start thinking about something seriously, you start to focus on it. You start to exclude other things from your awareness. It's not that the other things are not at all present in the awareness, but they become quite mildly present. They are there, but you are not so aware of them. So, in a way, in our previous videos as well, I have said that this actually creates the feeling of duality, that what you are really aware of becomes you, and the thing you're not aware of becomes something outside of you. So you get this feeling that there is something me, and somewhere I end, and then something is outside of me, which creates this feeling of me and not me. Okay, so I explained it quite fast at the moment, but if you really want to check it out, you can go to that video, and it's already on the channel. But uh, at the moment, what my whole point is that because the brain is so used to this process of thinking, the brain ignores the fact that it comes at a cost of limiting the awareness. Okay? Every time the brain is involved constantly or seriously in a process of thought, that process of thought consumes a lot of energy. And because it consumes a lot of energy, it affects awareness of your own awareness, actually. And when awareness is affected, then awareness contracts, because the energy which was to be used for being aware is now being consumed by thought to solve something or whatever. So naturally, you will see when you are involved in a deep thought, your awareness of your surroundings falls down. It's quite low, because the energy has been used to process by the brain, by the mind. So because the brain likes to live with thinking, because the brain likes to live with thought, okay, and thought is in a way brain's way of processing its own memory, okay, because the brain solves its problems using thought. I made this statement, but actually all that processing is happening on based of the knowledge that the brain has with itself. So that's why a brain which has a lot of knowledge of mathematics or physics can solve some problems related to mathematics or physics, okay? If someone doesn't know anything about mathematics or physics, and I tell this person to solve the singularity problem of a black hole, this person cannot do it, even though this person is using thought. So thought is not something magical that will solve the problem. It's just a tool. And the tool has its limitation, that it can only solve or help in the field that you already know. So thought can perform really nicely if you have the knowledge of mathematics. Then you can use thought to solve some mathematical problem. Okay, I'm just taking this as an example of mathematics. So, but the whole point is that the brain is highly entrusting itself into thought, into the processing, into analysis, into the flow of knowledge in itself. When a thought is moving, it's processing your knowledge, it's using your knowledge which is stored in your brain. And in that process, brain feels safe. Brain feels like when I'm thinking, I can solve the problem okay? So one major aspect that we have to consider, especially from meditation's point of view, is that it comes at a cost of limiting the awareness. When you will use thought and you become serious about something, okay, your awareness of your surroundings or something will just contract. And when awareness contracts, that's where the thought is using all of that energy. So in that sense, you have to observe it in your daily life, that inattention, which we defined as contraction of awareness, when awareness is contracting, okay, is the trust of brain in its own knowledge, okay? When the brain is trusting in its own knowledge and the brain is processing this knowledge using thought, then naturally inattention happens. It's one one phenomena together. If you give very much importance to a specific thought, then that thought will make you inattentive naturally. There is nothing mysterious about it. So I'm trying to connect inattention with the process of thinking. The more strongly you're thinking, the more you are consuming that energy, which can be used in the process of awareness or attention. So we are not suggesting that you shouldn't think, okay? That would be also a very weird thing to execute, because we need thinking to do our everyday task, okay? I'm sorry. But what we are suggesting is, first of all, to be aware of this process. First, discover for yourself the fact that every time you are taking a thought too seriously or seriously, it contracts your awareness. And this contracting of awareness, this limiting of awareness, is what is inattention. That's how I'm defining it, okay? So try to see this every day in your life, that every time you are lost in thought, your awareness of your surrounding becomes quite low, okay? So see the relationship of how thought consumes the energy, which can be used for being aware about your surroundings, about your body, about the people around you. So once you see that, okay, once you see that inattention is actually happening because thought is trying to become too important, okay, when thought tries to present its problem as something very crucial, okay, then naturally the energy contracts and starts to focus on that. So in a sense, the brain has a lot of trust in its knowledge, which is also the movement of our society. Our society trusts knowledge, our society respects knowledge in that sense. And here I'm not using the term knowledge as it's been used by some great teachers, like when Buddha will use the word knowledge, that's not what I'm meaning. And what I'm meaning is, I'm making it very clear, is that with knowledge here, I am meaning, not trying to mean, the memory which is stored in the brain, specifically the data, the memory in your brain. That's the knowledge. So the brain is feeling very secure with that knowledge, and the brain is ready to sacrifice awareness for the sake of being secure, using memory, and that memory is being used by the process of thought. Okay, so this is how I have made it clear how the process is happening. Okay, and you can observe it very easily. It's not something mysterious or something. Just you have to be aware on yourself to see this process happening. And as you will see it happening, that very observation will try to show you something. Okay, I'm not giving you what it is showing, because the mind is very capable of projecting. Okay, if I will say that if you do this and this will happen, then there are very high chances that the mind will project that experience, and then it will be very difficult to know if that was a real experience or if it was just a projection of the mind. So I would recommend you to observe it. Okay, try to catch this happening which is going on inside of you, and as you will catch it, you will see that this is how awareness is contracting and then releasing, contracting and then releasing, on the basis of how much energy is being consumed by thought. And that also gives you an answer to another very common question that people ask, that why I'm always thinking, why my mind is always doing something. And you would see that the reason it's happening is because the brain feels secure in that process. When the brain is thinking, the brain feels like it's safe. And that's why it wants to do it all the time, because it wants to feel safe. Okay, so observe this, and then when you will observe it, you would see whether using thought in that sense and affecting your awareness, whether it's right or not. I'm not saying what's right, what's not right. I'm just making you aware of this process. And when you become aware of the process, you yourself will see whether it's better to keep going on with this old pattern of the brain of trusting into knowledge, or maybe we should start putting our trust in awareness as well. I'm not, again, I want to be very clear, we are not trying to attack thought. We are only trying to put thought where it belongs. Okay? If you have a tool and you're trying to use the same tool in every situation, then it's kind of stupidity. One tool works at one situation, another tool works at the another situation. But somehow the brain feels it only has one tool, which is thought. And that's why you would see anything happens in your life, you try to think about it. You try to solve it by thinking. So the brain uses thought everywhere. That is what we are questioning here, whether it's a right approach or not. So try to see this, try to observe this, and then you will see that you will have a new way of looking to this whole process, and you would also find out by yourself, without someone telling you, that whether it's better to leave your energy with thought or start trusting your awareness as well. So I hope you will try it, and if there are some questions, then please write to me and I will answer them. And last week I couldn't post a video, and I'm sorry for that, but let's keep moving from today, and we will continue with the same topics, and we will continue to investigate thought more in different ways. Thank you.